Welcome to Hollywood Deli. I'm your host, Blue. So listen, you see it. Kyla Pratt. Kyla Pratt, she's an American actress. I've seen her in a bunch of movies from back in the day. I haven't seen her in anything recently, but she's done a lot of animated series for Disney, Proud Family, you name it. She's done it. She's 37 years old, and she's been engaged, I guess, or in a no, not engaged, but in a relationship with her fiance now for 20 years. So let's see her justify that, because I'm curious what she has to say. Is she going to be honest? Because I have a lot of opinions about that.
Ask, when are you gonna get married? Okay, marriage. We're gonna get married when we feel like it. I feel like there's a lot of pressure that people try to put on anybody in relationships as far as getting married. And I was having a conversation with someone recently, and I reminded them, I said, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that piece of paper. And why not work on your relationship before jumping into all that pressure? I don't.
Oh my God. So she started saying, we're going to get married when we get married, right? That women always do that. But then she finally told us the truth. The truth is, relationship isn't good. And she's hesitant because she has a lot to lose, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't probably don't have as much as she has. I'm just assuming, and because if he had more, she would be willing to marry him quickly, and so I'm assuming that that's part of it too. And she knows the relationship isn't good, but she's willing to stay in it. And I don't understand why stay in a relationship for 20 years, unhappy, not figuring it out, staying on the hamster wheel. She's 37 years old, so she's old enough to know better. And I think what's happening with her is what happens with a lot of us. We get caught up in the numbers game. She's been with him for 20 years, and she doesn't want to give that up and go start out, you know, and go start back out having to date again. And I understand that. But here's my thing. You're still contemplating marriage at 20 years, right? You knew 15 years ago the relationship wasn't good. There's something that's going on in that relationship that you do not feel comfortable marrying that man, because clearly he's not the one, because you're hesitant. Or maybe he's hesitant and isn't ready to marry you. Or I don't even think it's that if he's the one that's holding it up, I don't think it's that he's not ready. I know for a fact, this not for a fact, but this is my opinion. Men know for right away who they want to marry and who they don't want to marry. And the ones they don't want to marry, they string along.
I don't want to get married to get divorced. I don't want to, and of course, young ladies, we dream about our weddings and stuff like that, but I want it to be perfect. I want to have the perfect, not the perfect, because there's no such thing, but I want to have a great marriage. And that's what I want to focus on.
You don't have a great relationship, clearly. So how do you think that I don't understand you ladies that think that a not great relationship is going to turn to a great marriage. It's not. Like, you got to stop sitting here in these bad relationships for long periods of time and wondering why you're on this hamster wheel, not married, not progressing in this relationship, because it's not the right one. And that's what she's doing. She's just sitting and waiting. And it's like, it's been 20 years. He's shown you who he is. He's shown you, and you've shown him that y'all just can't work together. Because you, at 20 years together and you still don't think that the relationship is good enough to morph into a marriage, it's time to move on.
So right now we're good. We're good where we are, and it'll happen when we feel like it. Even if we want to do some Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn type.
Here's the thing, she's trying to justify this BS because she knows it's a mess. And she knows that I don't think it's her that's holding the relationship up. She's the famous one. I believe it's him holding the relationship up and that he doesn't want to be with her. And she knows that. And so she's like, we'll get married when we want to get married. And I won't be surprised if they have kids and he's waiting until they're 18 to dip on her. Because men will do that. They'll know that they're stringing you along, have no interest in making this a relationship into a marriage. They'll wait until the kids are 18 because they don't want to pay child support. And so they'll sit there and just waste your time. Well, they're not wasting your time. You're wasting your own time. And she has to know deep down that this relationship's going nowhere. It's absolutely going nowhere.
Thing. They never been married, still together, got all these kids, and still strong. Instead of like other people who rush into the situation, and then next thing you know, What? As long as we are friends, as long as we communicate and we are doing a great job raising our kids together, that's all that matters.
He's waiting on them kids to turn 18. He's not going to marry you. I think she knows that, and she's trying to save face because she knows this is a mess, and she's just hoping that he will see the value in her. But this relationship's going nowhere, and she knows better. She's 37, and I can't believe at 37 she sounds so immature and dumb. I'm like, who is teaching these girls? And that to use that example, oh well, I know people that have kids, they've been together for 20, 30 years, whatever, and they're happy and, they're not married. Like, there's a lot of devaluing of marriage in the black community, in my opinion, in particular, black men. This is just my opinion. It's not a factual thing. But a lot of other races, other persuasions, they go, they look at the statistics of how much of a black men are married, and they come up with the assumption that black men do not value marriage. And I have to agree with that notion because they are the least to get married, black men. And unfortunately, black women, we majority date black men. We start to conform to their BS. We start to conform to their thought process about marriage, and we'll have ourselves doing these dumb interviews that Kyla Pratt is doing, talking about, well, we'll get married when we feel like it, and we want to make sure we're still friends and happy and blah 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 blah, and it's like, girl, it's been 20 years. He not marrying you. He's waiting for something, and I believe it's he's waiting for the kids to turn 18 so he can leave and marry the woman he wants to be with. Because I guarantee once he leaves her, he will instantly marry like that.